shares of Coinbase surging in pre-market trading after reporting its first quarterly profit in 2 years. The crypto exchange seen net income of $273 million in its fourth quarter, that driven by the approval of those first spot Bitcoin ETFs. Yahoo Finance spoke to Cathie, whose ARK Invest holds large amounts of coin shares across its entire portfolio of active ETFs. Here's what she had to say about the results.
Well, one of the things that it's doing right is that it is, from a regulatory point of view, the most compliant exchange out there. And it's losing all its competition. I think they're also in the right place at the right time, and they're executing brilliantly.
Executing brilliantly, that is the big question for our next guest. We've got Owen Lau, an Oppenheimer analyst. And Owen, it's great to speak with you. I want to zero in on that quote from Cathie, not to disagree with her here, but when I speak to my sources in DC, they tell me that they're actually excited about Binance and the increase in their budget towards compliance, over 30% more allocation there. To what extent are you weighing compliance budgets as a way to suss out the performance of these crypto names?
I think this is a very important question. That's why last night on the earnings call, I asked the management team that specific question: how much investments they have in anti-money laundering. The answer I got from the CFO was they invested a lot of money into this area, because if you look at the last 1 or 2 years during crypto winter, FTX and even Binance got some trouble in this area. So I think this is a very important area. And Coinbase is a public company, so I do think they have invested enough money in this space. But we'll keep asking this question in order to make sure customers and shareholders understand what's going on.
And of course, a lot being made of Coinbase being the custodial crypto custodian for these spot Bitcoin ETFs. But we're also seeing the SEC and US lawmakers putting some pressure here, as a lot of these banks didn't get to cash in on that because of these laws they have regarding capital allocation, and really offsetting the liabilities if they were to have crypto in custody. Seeing that potentially moving faster, what does that do to Coinbase's edge?
What I've heard is some of the banking trade group is trying to push the SEC and the Congress to make some regulations to allow some of these banks to hold crypto. Longer term, it could increase some competition in this space, but a custodian is a very sticky business. So I think Coinbase has a first mover advantage. Coinbase has 8 out of the 10 spot Bitcoin ETF as the custodian. So because of this first mover advantage, and Coinbase, it's a critical infrastructure in this space, and these large banks or these large issuers trust Coinbase. So I felt like their position is still pretty strong, even though if the banks can hold digital assets going forward.
Owen, could a newbie to the space take significant market share from Coin at this point?
In my opinion, it is very hard. We saw some newbies. Even FTX was a newbie. They tried to do it with zero or very low fee. It didn't work out well, as we know. Some other companies may come in the future, but right now I felt like after this crypto winter, some of the bad actors are out. Some of the strategy they thought it worked, it didn't work out. So in my opinion, it is very hard. We will see additional entrants in this space, but very hard to steal market shares from Coinbase, I think.
And we do still have a lot of retail investors sitting on the sidelines here, a little bit burned from what they saw in the crypto winter, but starting to see these flows coming back in. Where do you see Coin gaining more market share, especially if you fix in the US? You have Binance they're competing with, and Gemini, as well as Binance and KuCoin globally as well.
They have been actually gaining market share. If you look at the US market, they have been gaining market share from, I think, 62% in July 2022 up to right now. I think it's over 67% in February 2024. And globally, similar thing, because Binance US and Binance have been losing market shares to Coinbase. So I think one of the key competitive advantage for Coinbase is actually transparency, disclosure, and compliance. So if they can bring this to the US or global landscape, I do think they have a good edge to keep getting market share from other global players.
Oh, go ahead.
So, Owen, it sounds like compliance is a really important part of your picture here. But when I look at analyst recommendations of the stock, it's incredibly mixed when you look at buys, sells, and holds, about 33% for each of those. Where can our audience of retail investors find the most clarity on this name? What specific data points should they be looking at in sussing out the value of coin moving forward?
I think Coinbase was widely perceived to be an unprofitable company during crypto winter in particular, but before that, they actually make massive profit. I think going forward, you can forget about the buy-sell hold rating, look at the fundamentals. Look at the GAAP earnings, look at the adjusted EBITDA number, it's that increasing. So this is not opinion. This is the kind of the figures printed by the company. So forget about all this rating, forget about this price target. Look at the company fundamentals such as adjusted EBITDA and EPS going forward. You can find the answer.
And Owen, for crypto enthusiasts looking forward to a spot Ether ETF, what are the expectations there, especially given some of the cold water that SEC Chair Gary Gensler threw on the potential that it won't be the same as the long drawn-out approval that they even saw with spot Bitcoin ETFs?
I have some hope. My expectation is I think there's a good chance that the ETH ETF can get approved by May 23rd this year, but we don't know. I don't know for sure. But if you look at what happened in Grayscale, if SEC were to reject ETH ETF, I think the crypto industry has the playbook how to deal with this situation. I don't hope that would happen that way, but I think if we are going to see a good scenario, if at the SEC approve this ETH ETF, I think there will be probably a win-win for all parties.
Certainly, the door is open. Appreciate you taking the time to join us. Oppenheimer's Owen Lau, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks a lot.